was keeping to somebody who Bugre Nabu sent to come and collect for me.
What was the purpose for it? Was it for him to secure a job for you, or to do what?
The purpose was for him to go and lobby for me.
To become the IGP, is that not correct?
Yes.
And it failed?
Pardon me?
And it failed?
It failed?
Yes. The lobbying didn't work. He wasn't successful?
Of course.
Okay.
And that's not the first time lobbies have failed. Because we started lobbying from 2017 to become IGP. Yes.
Started lobbying?
I said some of us started lobbying.
Oh, you?
Not now.
You?
Long time, yes.
You were commissioner in 2017?
I wasn't. Maybe I have to tell it's not only commissioners who are appointed as IGPs.
Sunrise on 3 FM.
You mean
from the rank of assistant commissioner to commissioner, anybody can be appointed as IGP?
No, but you'd agree with me that they would normally promote you to the next rank. They could do that again, but they would not. You would not be leapfrogged. Let's say you jump one position, and is it common?
It is. And now Sian was promoted from deputy commissioner to IGP when they were commissioners.
Indeed. Which part of the report appeals to you? Yesterday I focused on the recommendations of the committee regarding, and it puts a lot of pressure on the president because it lays most of the things that has to be done, one at the doorstep of the president and also at the doorstep of Parliament and the Police Management Board, right? And then on the individual officers themselves, they also have some things to do. But what did you find?
Okay, so the full report, and for those who are interested in getting to the nitty-gritty, you can find that on 3news.com. The full report is there. So I've got the report to one side, but just to sort of summarize for the uninitiated, or shall we move on with the report? I think we know.
Let's get into the details.
I think we know.
Everybody is initiated.
Yes.
It's been more than 10 months. Come on.
It's been a long time. We've been waiting for this particular report. All right, so we are fully initiated. Johnny, yesterday you talked about the recommendations that the committee came out with. There have been some, chit chats, and reports suggesting that maybe they were outside of the scope. So let's just remind ourselves of the terms of reference for the committee so that we know that they've actually carried out their mandate. And they were to ascertain the veracity or otherwise of the leak tape, to investigate the conspiracy to remove the current IGP, to investigate any other matter contained in the audio recording, D, to recommend sanctions to persons found culpable where appropriate, E, to make recommendations for reforms where necessary. And so based on that, I just want to also quickly look at what they actually found when they put all of the findings, they put all of that together. So I'll just scroll down here and get to the findings. Bear with me as I scroll.
Well, while you look for that, let's quickly listen to COP Alex Mensah. He disagrees that IGP Dampare is actually managing the police service well. Listen to him.
Very good. Okay. Would you be good enough to tell us the rest of the individuals that you were engaged in that conversation with?
Well, one
in the morning,
commander,
Sorry. Okay, please go slowly. Yes.
police commander.
Yes.
But I don't know which district or which region or which section he commands. You listen to it.
Mr. Chair, that is not wholly correct.
What is wholly correct?
Mr. Chair, what I admit as correct is that I had a meeting with Mr. Puklinabu, but we didn't have any plan to remove the IGP because I don't remove IGP and I don't appoint IGP. The audio that I listened here today is edited version of the conversations that we had. And because of that, wholly this audio that we listened is not genuine. Mr. Chairman, as I sit here, if I can tell you from first minute to the last minute of all those things that was in the audio, for me to reproduce to you what is genuine and what is not genuine, then I'll be lying.
You've indicated that meanwhile this IGP is not correct. What has he done?
Honorable Chair, I will not deny that fact today, tomorrow, or the next day. I will make that statement again. That the current Inspector General of Police is not managing the police service well. It's something I will not run away from. I will say it everywhere, anywhere that I go. And you can do your own investigations, call police officers underground and find out from them.
The best in the morning is on 92.7.
My concern
on 3FM.
was and is that as we speak, majority of police officers are not happy. And remember, police officers, they vote. Their wives vote. Their children vote. Their mothers and fathers vote. That is my concern.
It should jolt your memory, and you need to accept that, yes, that's my voice. That is all that we're trying to achieve, you know. And let's get it that simple, and it will be fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But my problem is that
Best in the morning.
because of technology, you might hear some voices that looks like your voice, but you don't remember saying those things because anybody can put anything anywhere. Sometimes you can see your picture, which is not even yours, but it's your picture. My intel suggests that what was used to tape the conversation was done by the current IGP. He sent some people to do it, and after which he went for it. So the tape from my intel is with the IGP, and he caused it to be leaked. So if this committee wants the tape, the right person to call before this committee is the Inspector General of Police.
8:25 in the morning, that's the time, and we go straight onto the phone line. We've been joined by COP retired George Alex Mensah, the man at the center of all this controversy, the bipartisan probe and the report thereof. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you these days?
Very, very well. And you?
I am greater than Accra, Chief.
Thank God.
Have you seen the report, the bipartisan probe report from Parliament?
I have not seen any report from Parliament.
But are you expecting Parliament to...
I've just seen a leaked report.
Right.
Supposedly from Parliament. Signed by the chairman of the committee.
3FM 92.7.
Have you had a chance to read this supposed leaked report?
Yes, I have. I've read it.
And what do you make of it?
I can't think far. I don't expect anybody to write such a report.
I don't understand.
Why don't you understand?
Because you're saying that you don't expect anybody to write such a report.
Yes, but the report that I read, anybody who was at the committee, who listened and saw all the evidence that were provided at the committee, I don't expect such person to write such a report.
I see. In the report, you are heavily implicated, and there are suggestions that you have committed perjury. Do you agree?
There's nothing like that in the report. Maybe you didn't read it well. Check.
There's a suggestion that you said one thing to the committee and another thing to a media house regarding, for example, your partisanship. You said that you were a sympathizer of the...
What I said to the media house got to do with what I said at the committee. Was the committee looking at what was said at the committee, or were they were looking at... I don't understand it. And I didn't see this in the report, no. Maybe you are talking about the earlier one, which they leaked at the time that I was contesting in my hometown. That was what they talk about, perjury. But this current one, there's nothing like perjury in it.
I see.
Maybe you have to check it well.
Sir, you spoke under oath, and then you mentioned that you have never been a member of the MPP, you are a sympathizer.
I never said so. Go back and listen. At the committee, I told them that as I was born into that party and I will remain in that party forever. Go and look at what I said at the committee.
I remember what interventions lawyer Thatcher tried to make on your behalf on national television.
They didn't allow me to. The man asked me whether I have a party card, and Thatcher intervened that I shouldn't answer that question. And if you remember, I asked that they should ask one of the sitting members how he managed to contest after resigning from the police service after 2 weeks. Was he having a party card? And they couldn't answer.
So for you did nothing wrong by granting that interview?
Nothing. I went to the committee, I spoke the truth. Nothing.
Would you have repeated what you told the media house to the committee if you had been allowed to answer?
Media house? What did I tell the media house?
Well, you told the media house that you have always been a card-bearing member of the MPP, you had supported projects underground and all of that.
I even told the committee that I was born into the New Patriotic Party and I will remain a member of the New Patriotic Party for life. So I won't change it. How can I change it?
There are those who are calling for your head in terms of bringing you back to the service and trying you and then taking away your benefits because of your conduct while you were in uniform and in office, and the contents of the tape that has been ascertained by the committee. What do you say to them?
Who is saying that?
Dr. Adam Bonner.
No sensible person can say that. No sensible person can make that comment. No sensible.
FM 92.7.
Anybody who makes that comment has to check his brains. He'll be sent to the mental hospital and check his brains.
And what will we be looking for in that test?
Ask him, I don't know. Maybe his brain is not working well.
Do you think you conducted yourself well while in office, a very high-ranking police officer, COP, meeting with politicians and
you think it's easier to be in the police service and get to the rank of a commissioner of police? My brother.
3FM.
Your party, the New Patriotic Party, many had thought that, well, because of this show of love for the party on national television, even when it looked like all the odds were against you, we're going to give you the nod in the constituency which you contested. But they didn't choose you. Why did that happen?
Oh, well, what has that got to do with this case?
Well,
if you are going to contest as a member of parliament, you're within your constituency, it's a delegate that's supposed to select you, isn't it?
Right.
If the delegate decide that, no, we don't want you to come and lead us, that's all. I mean, it's not the first time that anybody has contested and has lost. It's normal.
Well, now, The committee's report, paragraph 11.5, says that the conspiracy by Chief Bugri Nabu, COP Mensah, Superintendent Asari, and Superintendent Jibi to remove the IGP based purely on partisan considerations could undermine free, fair, and transparent elections and ultimately the sanctity of Ghana's democracy. Your reaction, sir?
Which committee is that?
This is the bipartisan committee in Parliament, the one you appeared before.
Is it a report signed by the entire committee?
Well, signed by everybody else minus the chairman of the committee.
Why?
I would not know, sir.
The chairman of the committee is supposed to present the committee's report. So why didn't he sign?
Does that negate the report in your eyes?
Yes, I don't see it as a report of the committee.
So, for example, the other members on the side of the NPP, your party, have all signed. Honorable Patrick Yabuama has signed. He's a lawyer. Honorable Hayford has signed, and I'm sure that the only outstanding name is Honorable Atachia. And you say that we should discard the report because one person has not signed?
Of course, that's the chairman, not just one person.
92.7.
The chairman of the committee. Why do you think after setting up the committee, they selected a chairman?
I see. Now, recommendation from this report, based on the foregoing, the committee recommends the following. A, that the House communicates its findings to His Excellency the President pursuant to Section 19 of the Police Service Act 1970 Act 350, which vests disciplinary powers in the President to determine the appropriate action in relation to the conduct of COP Mensah, Superintendent Asari, and Superintendent Jibi, who appear...
COP Mensah a policeman?
Well, at the time, you were, or were you not?
COP Mensah a policeman, as I speak.
But at the time you appeared before the committee, you weren't you, sir?
You are not answering my question.
So that takes me to my earlier question, whether you can be brought back to be dealt with. And
how can a retired also be brought back to do or to serve? When they bring me back, are they going to pay me as a police officer at that time that I'll be brought back?
So here your pensions and your benefits is what is in question now.
My pension and benefit? Have I committed any crime? If they think I've committed a crime, they should send me to court.
Well, according to the committee, you misconducted yourself. You were partisan instead of being neutral.
I misconducted myself. And who has proved it?
Well, the committee here, in the paragraph I read to you, said that your action, together with the two superintendents of police and Chief Bugri Nabu, were purely partisan and were unprofessional.
The committee, those people who signed it, they don't know what they are talking about.
That's a very serious thing to do. The clerk of the committee has also signed.
What is serious? I'm telling you, they don't know what they are talking about. They didn't know what they are talking about. It's so surprising.
Would you be
surprised? They don't know what they're talking about.
Would you be surprised if the President Akufo-Addo decides to act on what the committee is recommending and strips you off
and
your
this
benefits?
Committee, has this report been filed at the main parliament? Has the parliament discussed it? Have they approved that committee's recommendations? Have they done that?
Well, they're yet to do that.
Have they done that?
They have not, but they are impressing upon
so we
Parliament.
Don't need to discuss this. It's a useless thing that is just circulating. It's a leaked report. It's not a report.
92.7.
Well,
let the report be filed at the main parliament. Let them discuss and come out.
So this report,
it's a proper report.
So
and that's where we will talk about it.
I see, sir. So this
Don't
report.
waste our time on this.
Sir, this report is before Parliament officially. Members of Parliament have it, all right? And I doubt that members of Parliament will be holding a fake document and be circulating.
Have they told you that they have it?
Yes.
Have you spoken to the speaker?
I don't need to speak to the speaker to know that
and he says it has been laid before him. Have they discussed it at the Parliament? Has the Parliament approved of this report?
So the majority chief whip.
Answer my questions.
Well, I'm not here to answer questions, sir. You are to answer questions, sir.
I'm here to answer questions.
Yes, sir. Please.
Why do you pay me for answering your questions? No, don't do that. You are not here to answer questions, but you want me to answer your questions.
So you,
as what?
You are the interviewee. I'm the interviewer.
Oh, so you decide what to do, but you don't want to answer my questions. Don't ask me any question because I will not answer your questions. I thought we were going to have a discussion. And when we are having discussions, I answer and you answer. But if you decide not to answer, then why are you asking me questions?
COP, I think you're getting the whole concept wrong.
I'm not getting any concept.
So
you're asking me questions and I'm also asking you questions. You want me to answer, but you don't want to answer my questions.
Okay. So COP, per parliamentary practice, a matter comes before Parliament. It is referred to a committee, and in this case, it's the ad hoc committee. They sit on the matter. You appear before them. Some of the sessions held in camera. They have finished with their work, concluded, written a report, and I'm suggesting to you that members of Parliament...
They have not concluded. They have not written any report. The report has not been signed by the chairman. This is the chairman of the committee that will present the report to the Parliament. Has he presented any report to Parliament? Have you spoken to Atachia? Has he presented any report to Parliament?
So, COP...
I will only speak on a report that Atachia has presented to Parliament.
COP, the committee had a co-chairman. James Agalga represents the minority. Atachia represents the majority. If James Agalga, Patrick Boama, Honorable Hayford, Tobu, Eric Opoku have all signed, why do you think that just one chairman who may have gone rogue, it negates the whole process? Are you taking...
Why didn't the chairman sign?
Are you taking a shade behind Honorable Atachia?
Why didn't the chairman sign? Because there is something wrong with the report.
Have you been talking to him?
There is something... No, I don't have time to talk to anybody.
I see.
Your guy pleaded with me to talk to you, but I've decided not to talk to anybody.
And that's why I'm happy that you are speaking to us.
Yes. By the way you are interrogating me, maybe the next time you call me on any issue, it'll be difficult to talk to you.
COP, we apologize if that's how you feel, but we are only doing our work as journalists.
See, I'm not ready to talk about this matter.
Are you saying that
the Parliament has decided if they want to send it to the President, they can send it to the President. Whatever the President decides to do, let him do it. At the appropriate time, if we need to do something, we also do it. You understand? But as I speak, I'm not a police officer. And no policeman can call me for any disciplinary action. I'm not a policeman.
Would you go to court if you think that in the final analysis, when the report is presented and a decision is taken?
When it gets there, you know what to do.
COP Alex Mensah, how do you your conduct? People think, for example, that you are perhaps too full of yourself, too high, and they think that maybe at this point you should tone down a bit so that the reverence that people had for you could be maintained.
When was the last time you heard me speaking? If you say people say at this time I should tone down, you are the only person I'm talking to. So who are the people who are saying I should tone down? Why did they say that?
Not on media, not on media front. I'm saying that you appearing before the committee, people still have a mindset of how you answered some of the questions publicly, and people could have their own perceptions about things.
That is a problem. And I don't care about that.
3FM 92.7.
That is a problem. COP Mensah retired is COP Mensah retired.
So, the COP, I want to pick your thoughts as a very senior retired police officer. There's a suggestion about the appointment of the IGP, suggesting that they should not be left in the hand of the president of the day alone, but then there should be a constituted body, all right, that would look into those matters and then appoint an IGP that everybody will be happy about and not necessarily somebody who will be perceived as a partisan IGP. What do you think of that?
Some of us started advocating that for a very long time. That appointment of these security heads should be done by a body, an independent body, who will look at the competence of people who apply. They set standards, all those who can apply and who qualify, so that they will be interviewed and the right person is selected. Some of us have been advocating for this for a very long time.
I see.
So anybody who says that, outside with him.
Then paragraph E also talks about, in order to protect the integrity of election security management, the IGP, in its capacity at the head of the National Election Security Task Force, should manifest openness in the assignment of security personnel involved in such operations. Should such personnel be found to have misbehaved unscrupulously in the course of their work, including violently intimidating a voter, the Ghana Police Service and the IGP should take the necessary step, disciplinary action promptly. Do you trust the IGP to be open and fair as the chief managing internal security for the forthcoming elections to do this?
What can a single man do? The election is being conducted in the whole country. What can an IGP who sit in one office do? Nothing.
What should
if
be
you're a political party and you are going to do elections, you are also allowed to send somebody there to supervise it for you. What the parties need to do is to select the right people to be their agents and open their eyes.
You at the committee, you mentioned, for example, that the IGP is not managing the Ghana Police Service well. That's one major boom statement that you made, with everybody, had everybody open their eyes. Do you still stand by that claim?
I will never change. I speak my mind.
3FM 92.7.
If the IGP Dampari is removed today, will that settle your doubts about how the police service has been run?
I don't know.
When you appeared before the committee, you were also very bent on breaking the 8, as we heard on the tape. And all of the meeting, the crux of that meeting was that the current IGP was not going to help the party, your party, MPP, to break the 8. Do you still want to break the 8 after all this controversy?
My brother, I've told you I was born into a party and I'll remain a member of the party. And my party is contesting and asking me this question. Which MVP member wants the party to lose elections? You want your party to lose the election?
I don't have a party.
You don't have a party? Don't you vote?
I don't vote based on partisan lines.
Vote. Don't you vote? The party that you vote for, do you want them to lose? You want them to lose? Why will you vote for them?
What does the future look like for you in terms of partisan politics? I mean, first of all, we have seen your colleague, COP Nathan Kofi Boakye, playing a major role in the John Mahama campaign. He was on the walk with him, etc. Are you playing any role for Dr. Bawumia?
As to what I'm doing, I'm not going to expose it. I'm a security officer.
Right.
I don't say things that I'm doing to the public.
But you are doing something for Dr. Bawumia?
As I said, I'm not going to tell you anything about that.
With all your experience, you are the security couple managing Dr. Bawumia's campaign. Can we say that? Hello, sir.
Hello?
Can we say that with all your security experience, you perhaps may be the brain behind Dr. Bawumia's security architecture for his campaign?
If you think you ask a question I said I won't answer, and you phrase the question in other way and I'll answer, then you are joking.
COP, you're my big brother. If I ask you a question, you
That's what I'm telling you. That's a question that I say I will not answer it publicly. You reframe it. You're not talking to a small boy.
I see. Well, COP...
Doesn't matter how you reframe it, I will know the question you're asking and the answer you're looking for. And I've told you, in public, I'm not going to tell you.
Will you go back to Bekwai to contest?
When the time gets... When we get to that time, we decide.
I see. Well, I want to thank you very much indeed for your time. Unless you have something you want to share with the public before we let you go, sir.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. COP George Alex Mensah. He is a retired police officer. Says anybody who thinks that his benefits should be taken off and brought back into the service must have his head examined, Helen.
Yes, he also said that no sensible person can make a comment like that, and they should be sent to the mental hospital expeditiously to have the contents of their brains examined. What an interesting conversation you just had with COP retired Alex Mensah. The vibrancy in his responses, they haven't changed. They remained consistent. And as you asked him, nearly chewed your head off when you asked about this demeanor and what he thinks is the public's response to him. Interestingly, like you also reiterated, out of the 6 members of parliament who were placed on this ad hoc committee, the only person who hasn't signed is the chair of the committee, Honorable Samuel Atachian.
And he says that invalidates the report in his eyes.
Does it? Curiously, yesterday I was mulling over this and looking through what our House of Parliament has to say. They've got their own rules
standing
of engagement, their standing orders, correct, for 10 points. And this gives us some guidance. Well, according to the standing orders, a committee's report must be signed by the chairman or in his absence by the vice chairman or a majority of the committee members. So in this context, even if the chairman did not sign the report, the fact that 5 out of 6 members signed it suggests that it retains its validity under the standing orders, as the majority endorsement is sufficient. Today, I believe members are sitting.
Yeah.
So this can be laid before
In fact,
the House.
The majority chief whip is the one asking for it to be laid.
For it to be laid, okay.
He's asking for MP4 and so on, jury. He's asking for it to be laid. So the public interest and everything else. I mean, we look. He doesn't believe, COP Alex Mensah doesn't believe that his faith hangs in the balance. He believes that, he's done and dusted. He's a retired police officer. You can't bring him back. Well, we'll see what will happen in the coming days. He says, well, they can take it to the president. They can take it to the moon and back. He doesn't care.
You asked a very important question also about whether or not he's in the shadows or taking shade behind Honorable Atachian.
I will not answer that.
Because I feel like the optics suggest that maybe Honorable Atachian is doing some type of shielding, because reports indicate that, according to Honorable Atachian, this report doesn't accurately reflect their findings. We are waiting for his own report to also come to the fore. He says that the late report does not have his authorization. As we know, it hasn't been signed. Does it invalidate it? What happens if he also brings his own report to the House? Will both reports be laid, or do the standing orders trump in this instance?
Interestingly, when the COP appeared before the bipartisan committee, you remember how Atachian, for example, intervened when they asked him about his membership of the UP tradition and all of that, and he says, no. I don't think that you should answer that question. I'm looking for that tape to play, so that we can all have our minds on it. Abiyam, give us a spot of music and let's find that tape quickly from my archives and we can play it.
Who don't know me, don't know me. Ask who.
Draman is joining us on the phone line. Doc, thank you very much indeed for your time. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Johnny. How about you?
I am greater than Accra, Chief. Doc, let's get straight to the point. The bipartisan probe on the 3 police officers and the politician who were caught on tape trying to kick IGP Dampare out has a report circulating in the public. Have you seen the report?
Yes, I've seen, but I haven't taken the trouble to read it because I've been a bit busy.
Right,
yes.
Right. Now, in that report, the committee is impressing upon Parliament to adopt the report, and there are numerous recommendations in that report. For example, they are asking for contempt of court sanctions to be slapped on Superintendent Asari and JB, and also for them to be held before the Privileges Committee in Parliament. Fair?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Johnny, yes.
It's a fair thing to say.
Well, yes. I mean, I think it's fair, but, you know, over the years, I mean, you and I know, our Privileges Committee has been too politicized. You know, I have not seen any concrete kind of sanction that has come out from the work of the Privileges Committee over the years. You know, and then you add to the mix the fact that, you know, Alex Mensah, all of a sudden, immediately after he left the service, became a parliamentary candidate for the ruling party. You know, it adds, I mean, another kind of political dynamic to the mix. So really, I have my doubts in terms of whether these recommendations can be carried through.
I see. Now, the other concern is about the processes in Parliament.
Yes.
See, I just spoke with COP Alex Mensah, who says that because Lawyer Atachia, who is a co-chair of the bipartisan committee, hasn't signed the report, but all the other 5 have signed, and the clerk to Parliament, the clerk of the committee has signed. That's missing signature of Lawyer Atachia invalidates the whole report. What do you say?
I don't think so, Johnny, because at the end of the day, I think Parliament works, I mean, on the basis of, you know, majority carrying the day. I mean, whether at the plenary or at the level of the committee. For me, what is happening is that, you know, my reading of all the events from when the report was laid was, I mean, I took 2 lessons from it. Number one, the committee doesn't seem to have confidence in Honorable Atachia, because if you have members from the NDC and then from his own party appending their signatures, and he's the only one who did not, I think there are serious questions to answer about his leadership, about his style, and about how he carried the committee throughout the mandate of the committee. The second one is that if indeed yesterday what we heard happened on the floor of the House, where the majority chief whip,
that's right,
got somebody else to lay the report,
right,
and there were indications that Honorable Atachia was aware, and he gave his blessing for that to happen. And then all of a sudden we heard him say, I was not aware, this was done on my blind side. It also speaks to the fact that it looks like his own focus doesn't have confidence in his leadership on this matter. And Johnny, for me, when I look at these two, and then putting them together and thinking about all the work that we've been doing over the years to get our parliament as well as other parliaments to be effective, it raises one fundamental question. That is about the democratic processes in electing leaders of parliamentary committees. In parliaments that work, committees are formed and then members are left to decide who leads them. So that...
I see. Hello, Doc. Hello, Dr. Rashid Rahman. Sorry, we'll have to raise Dr. Rashid Draman back on the phone line. But let me take you back to the committee. And that interaction between Lawyer Tachia, COP Alex Mensah, and the Honorable Henry Kopoku, who had asked that question about party membership, particularly of the NPP, and the answer that COP Alex Mensah had put forth in that particular instance. Well, we'll hold on, and I'm told that Dr. Rashid Dramani is back on the phone line. He's the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Doc, thank you very much indeed for joining us again.
Johnny, I was making the point that it raises a fundamental question about the fact that, in parliaments that work, these days, committees are formed, and then leadership of the committees, are not imposed on members. So a committee is formed, then the members are left to decide who leads them, so that they elect somebody that they would have confidence in, somebody who is level-headed, somebody who can bring all the different opinions together and work at all times as much as possible to arrive at consensus. And where they are not able to reach consensus, sometimes the discussions are deferred and repeated again. In the end, if consensus is not reached, at least you have a minority report, but not a minority report where it is the chair who is writing a minority report like we are seeing in this case. Because this is an anomaly. This is an anomaly.
I see. Now you look at the report, you read it, you get a sense that the committee is unanimous in this decision on, the misconduct of the officers, the partisan line that they told, and the indiscipline and unprofessionalism that they exhibited, and how that could go a long way to affect the peace and safety of the country, jeopardize our election and democracy. They place a burden on Parliament, one, and then on the Police Management Board, two, and then at the doorstep of the president. Let's begin from the presidency. Do you think that the president will take a bold decision on this one and ask for the officers to be punished appropriately?
The challenge with this one is that even before the report came out, all the events of the recent past where we've seen members of the MPP accuse the IGP, at least that's what we read in the media about, the fact that, his conduct, particularly if you refer to the Asinov by-election and all the matters that arose out of that, already the space has been, and then the position of the IGP, has come into, a lot of question in terms of whether or not, he has a kind of favorable standing before the party that's in power. At least that's my reading. And so if now, given all that is happening, and then you add the fact that one of the key actors in the whole thing, he has shown his party colors, to be an MPP member and all those things, even though he indicated, differently when he appeared before the committee and so on. The president's hands will be very, very tight at this moment.
Right.
If he takes action, I think, particularly punishing the IGP, I think many people are going to say this is déjà vu. This is something that was already being planned and so on. On the other hand, if he doesn't take action, I think particularly in an election year, we might be in a situation where perhaps security might be compromised. So either way, I think the president might be in a difficult situation. But I'm not the president, so he has to decide what he has to do.
COP Alex Mensah, in a conversation before you came on, Doc, indicated that anybody who is asking for him to be brought back and sanctioned or to be punished or to be reprimanded, as it were, must have his head examined. This comment had been made by Dr. Adam Bona, a security analyst, who thought that, well, the president should be bold enough to take this decision. Judgment between the two. One says, bring him back, punish him. The other says, anybody who is asking for that must have his head examined. What do you say? You stand in the middle. What do you say?
Well, I think it was very clear that if what we heard, most of the things that he said before the committee have come to show that, everything was on the opposite. He has questions to answer. So, if he says people's heads have to be examined, well, I don't know what that means. And even the fact that, Johnny, we have to move away as a country, because if you have security officers and no less officers than people at the top hierarchy of our security in this country, covertly, embracing political parties, I think that is not good for our country.
Right.
These people must be professional, and they must stay away from partisan politics. Because this one coming out of retirement the next day, he says, I belong to this party. I think it's very, very disturbing. It's very, very disturbing. And I would have even thought that the top hierarchy of the government, the party in power, would condemn this and make sure that we don't begin to set very bad precedent.
But that did not happen, Doc, because just a few days after the probe, we saw the COP Alex Mensah contesting openly the seat that Joe Asewusu is leaving behind in Bekwai.
Indeed. And that is very disturbing, because, if this is left to go unaddressed, we don't know how many, maybe we might have a future IGP who is a potential parliamentary candidate for one of the major parties and doing the bidding of the party in an election year, and then eventually compromising the security of the country, and all of us will be in a mess if this country is turned upside down. It's in their interest, I think, both parties to address this matter.
Right. Now, speaking of both parties, this is the bipartisan probe that we had. A constitution of the majority and the minority, if you like, NDC and MPP.
Yes.
And the co-chairman, or if you like, the lead chairman, Lawyer Tachan, says, I won't sign. Is this going to be the tone for a certain precedence where in the coming days and for Parliament, a bipartisan committee can be set up, the members can sign, and then the chairman says, well, I don't agree, so I won't sign, so go away.
Yeah,
what would that mean?
I think on this matter, for me, I would like maybe the speaker to take a position so that we stop this drama. Honestly, I think the speaker has to take a position so that we stop this drama. And like you said, we stop this repeating itself. Because if this is left unaddressed in the 9th Parliament, if anything happens, we know we are in a country where there's always equalization. Or this happened during the NDC, and so it can happen during the MPP or vice versa.
Right.
So I would think that, if I were the Speaker of Parliament, perhaps I would take the decision of the majority, and adopt this report as it is. And because, Johnny,
yes, sir.
This has gone on for a very long time. I know when the committee was formed, it was given some terms of reference.
That's right.
It was also given a period within which
that's correct. The duration.
The report must be presented to the House.
Right.
We can't have our MPs doing whatever they like, particularly on matters that border on the security of this country. They are hired to do work that should benefit this country, not work that should benefit the interests of some individuals. And I think that is where, perhaps the leadership of Parliament must be, very firm. Otherwise, we wake up in the 9th Parliament, in the 10th Parliament, and these things will be repeating themselves. It's similar to what we are seeing with the Privileges Committee. Over the years, Johnny, have you ever heard that the Privileges Committee has punished its own? Parliament has been very weak on that.
Right.
And I think that these are some of the things that would need to change. Otherwise, we keep dancing in circles, and our democracy will not grow.
Okay. Dr. Rashid Dramani, I thank you very much indeed for your time. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. He's the Executive Director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. And it's some 9 minutes after 9 here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Let me take you back to Parliament about Lawyer Tachia George, the COP George Mensah, and Honorable Eric Opoku at the table about his party membership. Listen, and then we will go for a quick break. When we return from that break, there's more here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
That is true. And you became Assistant Commissioner during the time of President Kufuor, is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
And the 8 years that the NDC was in office, you were never promoted, is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
Nanado came and made you a commissioner, is that correct?
That is true, Mr. Chairman.
And so when you make a statement like this, yes. The President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana. And so when you stated, as was captured in the audio, media, I have been MPP member since long time, before I even joined the service. And now we need, because if you don't break the 8, that's my only objective. Anybody I meet, I tell them, we need this man. He can't help. You became an MPP member since you have been an MPP member long time before you joined the service. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, my family has been with the UP tradition ever since I was born. And it's remained there till now.
So that's it. He says he's always been there. Looks like he wants some more. Okay.
Are you a card-bearing member of the MPP? Wait, why not?
Mr. Chairman,
I think you've answered it in a way that you are not a card member. No.
Come on. This can lead to problems for this man. Come on.
Okay, let's. He's leading into temptation now. No, it's a bar. What is the meaning of this?
Chairman, with the greatest of respect, yes. I don't think this question ought to be admitted.
I was just going to tell him. I was going to tell him that this is not fair.
It is very dangerous for the force.
Cancel.
Very dangerous.
Cancel.
He may have ambitions later in life, and you want him.
Yes.
But make some admissions.
Oh.
Chairman.
Remember. Okay.
Just a second. Honorable Chairman, the Honorable Patrick Buama has usurped your power and gone a step further by overruling you. Chairman, I think we need to call the Honorable Patrick Buama to order.
I think I'm trying to, do what is honorable that is too far-reaching. That whilst he's a commissioner, he's a card-bearing member. But what I can glean from what he's saying that he's a blood-carrying member of the UP tradition. That's what he said. Yes. So please, do not answer this one. I crave your indulgence. it's too far-reaching. Yes.
I asked this innocuous question based on a statement that is captured here as having been made by the witness, especially when he indicated that I have been MPP member since long long time before I even joined the service. And so
With the greatest of respect, the witness was a chief inspector on the 1st of January 1992. The MPP was formed in August 1992. So he couldn't have been a party member long before. Yeah, so
you know, what is it that would you want to ask him whether he has MPP sympathies? Oh, my brother. Okay, please answer as he comes so that it shouldn't be seen as if I'm gagging my colleague here.
Mr. Chairman,
okay, go ahead.
Chairman,
go ahead. Yeah.
I think he answered the first leg of the question by alluding to the fact that his entire family are members of the UP tradition since time immemorial. You understand? And then I asked a specific question relative to his membership with the MPP, just because of the statement here. Okay. Unless you are telling me that the statement here is not factual.
You can be a member of MPP without being a card-bearing member of MPP. There's a difference. So that is a slight difference.
So I wanted the witness, a lawyer, an experienced police officer.
No, it has consequences for him. You see, I mean, the chair to protect the witness as well, because it has serious consequences for him, and you know. So please, you can ask another question, because this is fairly serious. Because when you say is a card-bearing member of the, and then that is serious. Yes. You want to say is a political activist in the police service. That is serious. No.
Okay, so that's it, Helen.
Very interesting. Did you hear Honorable Atacha? He says, I'm in the chair to protect the witness as well. Is that part of the committee's mandate? To protect the witnesses, to prevent them from answering the questions that have been laid before them. COP Alex Mensah is very senior, experienced. If he thinks that question was going to implicate him, I think he can speak for himself. From the outset of this committee, the optics on the part of Honorable Atacha have not looked good, preventing witnesses from speaking, refusing to sign the report, now claiming that this report doesn't reflect the entire committee's work. I don't really understand. If he has an alternative view, I believe we're all waiting with bated breath to hear from Honorable Atacha. Okay. Some 10 months later from the stipulated time, a waste of our time. The time has been wasted. They were given a deadline, September 10th, 2023. Hearing started in August. It is June 2024, and we are still playing Pilolo with this report. Please, members of Parliament, we don't have time.
Take a break.